You know that feeling when you've had a good day? You've trained hard, eaten well, ticked off your to-do list. But the second your head hits that pillow, your brain goes, actually, let's replay every awkward thing you've ever said. Yeah, I know that one too. I'm Alison, and if you're struggling to shut off, to recover properly, or to feel rested even when you do sleep, this one's going to be for you. Because tonight, or whenever you're listening, we're going to talk about the most powerful recovery tool you already have, and probably the one thing you're neglecting. This is the Fundamentals of Fitness, and today we're learning how to sleep like an athlete. Let's start with something simple. Sleep is not passive. It's not the absence of training. It's part of it. When you drift off, your body doesn't clock out, it clocks in. Your muscles repair, your hormones rebalance, memories consolidate, and your nervous system gets a long overdue reboot. It's the only time your brain can perform what's basically a full body maintenance check. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, crucial for muscle repair and tissue recovery. This is when all those micro tears from training are stitched back together. Miss that phase and you're literally halting your progress. Then comes REM sleep, where your brain goes into creative mode. Motor patterns from training get locked into long-term memory. So yes, sleeping well can actually make you better at your sport or your lifts. Sleep is also the master regulator of hormones. Cortisol, your stress hormone, naturally drops at night, allowing your body to repair. And testosterone and growth hormones peak during quality sleep, helping recovery and muscle growth. And leptin and ghrelin, the hormones that control hunger, rebalance overnight. That's why after a bad night, you crave sugar and coffee like your life depends on it. Your body is literally screaming, "We're tired, give us quick energy." When you cut sleep short, even by just an hour or two, reaction time slows, coordination drops, and your rate of perceived exertion, how hard a workout feels, that goes up. In studies with athletes, performance can decline by up to 30% after only 3 nights of restricted sleep. That's the difference between hitting a personal best and wondering why everything suddenly feels heavier. I'll be honest, I'm not great at shutting off either. There have been plenty of nights where I've finished with clients, checked emails, planned sessions, scrolled through reels for research, and suddenly it's midnight and I'm still wide awake, brain buzzing like a pre-workout. I'd tell myself, I'll catch up tomorrow. Spoiler, you can't catch up on sleep like that. And the next day, even though I trained, coached, and ate right, I felt drained because my nervous system never got the memo to rest. That's when it really hit me. Recovery isn't optional, it's the other half of performance. Some people wear exhaustion like a badge of honour. You know the type, I only need 5 hours, I function fine. But functioning and performing are two very different things. Research shows that chronic sleep restriction, even losing just 1 hour a night, builds up like compound interest. You might feel fine, but your reaction time, cognitive sharpness, and strength output quietly tank. Your body adapts to being tired. It just lowers your standards to match. When you sleep, your parasympathetic nervous system, that's the calm side, finally takes over. Your heart rate drops, blood pressure stabilizes, muscle tension eases. Without that shift, you stay in sympathetic mode, the fight or flight, which means stress hormones keep firing even when you're lying down. That's why people say, I was in bed for 8 hours, but I didn't feel rested. If your nervous system doesn't switch modes, your body never really sleeps. And yes, caffeine, late night Netflix, and blue light don't help. Caffeine has a half-life of up to 6 hours, so that 3 p.m. pick-me-up latte can still be bouncing around your bloodstream at bedtime. Screens suppress melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to wind down. So if you're scrolling under bright light, your brain thinks it's noon. I want you to think about this like an athlete would. No elite performer trains hard 7 days a week without rest. They cycle intensity, plan recovery, and treat sleep as sacred, because they know that every rep, every sprint, every ounce of strength means nothing if the system behind it isn't recharged. You've heard that phrase, train like an athlete. But here's the thing, athletes don't just train like athletes, they recover like athletes. And that's where the real edge comes from. They don't see sleep as a luxury, they treat it as part of their job description. And I've spoken about this in some of my previous podcasts. So think about it. Top performers have entire teams monitoring their sleep cycles, adjusting their training volume based on their recovery data, even tracking heart rate variability overnight. And it's not because they're soft, it's because they understand that performance is the sum of stress plus recovery. Roger Federer famously sleeps 10 to 12 hours a night. LeBron James, 9 minimum. And there's research from Stanford showing that when basketball players extended their sleep from 7 to 9 hours, their sprint speed improved by 5% and shooting accuracy by 9%. 9% doesn't sound like much until you realise that's the difference between elite and average. Now I get it. You're not a professional athlete. You've got jobs, kids, late night emails, dogs to walk. But here's the good news. The principles that work for them will work for you too. You don't need a nap between training blocks or to hire a sleep coach. You just need structure, rhythm, and respect for your recovery. So here's how athletes approach sleep and how you can steal their secrets. Consistency over everything. They go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, weekends included. Why? Because your body's circadian rhythm thrives on predictability. Inconsistency confuses your internal clock, like flying to a new time zone every few days. Pre-sleep routine. Athletes don't just collapse into bed after scrolling TikTok. They wind down intentionally, stretching, journaling, or even just dimming the lights to tell the brain it's time. That 30 to 45 minute window of calm makes all the difference. Environment matters. Cool, dark, quiet. Around 18 degrees Celsius is optimal for most people. If you can't block light or noise completely, use blackout blinds, white noise, or a sleep mask. Anything that can reduce your sensory output. Technology boundary. Most athletes will switch screens off an hour before bed. And if you must be on your phone, use a blue light filter and dim your brightness. Better yet, plug your phone in another room. It's the simplest upgrade to your recovery you'll ever make. I once challenged a few of my clients to do a no-scroll experiment. No phones after 9 p.m. for 2 weeks. They grumbled, of course. But by week 2, they were falling asleep faster and waking up less groggy. Not because of magic, but because their brains finally had time to wind down. One client even said, I didn't realise how much stress was coming from my screen until I stopped letting it follow me to the bedroom. When you start treating your wind down as seriously as your workout, something incredible happens. You stop chasing energy and start generating it. Your morning coffee feels optional instead of essential. Your training sessions feel sharper. Your patience, yes, even with other people, that improves. You're calmer, stronger, more focused, and you recover faster. That's not self-care fluff. That's neurological efficiency. Let's go through a few more practicals because I know you love structure. Try a same sleep schedule daily. Aim for at least 7, ideally 8 hours. Have a cool environment. Lower body temperature helps trigger melatonin release. Dim the lights 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Light is information for your brain. Keep it soft and warm, not bright and blue. Light, early dinners. Heavy meals can keep your digestive system working overtime, delaying deep sleep. And have a caffeine curfew. Stop by 2 to 3 p.m. to give your system time to clear it. A mental decompression. Write down tomorrow's tasks so you don't replay them at midnight. You don't need perfection, you just need consistency. Small wins here compound fast. Now, if your current bedtime routine looks like scrolling, snacking, panic Googling symptoms you don't have, and then wondering why your brain won't relax, you're not alone. But here's the thing, You can't expect your body to sleep if you keep acting like it's daytime. When I started seeing sleep as training, my whole approach changed. I set a cut-off time for work, created a digital sunset where I dimmed my lights and screens and even put my phone on charge in another room. At first, I hated it. But then I started waking up without that groggy, sluggish feeling, the kind that makes you question if your alarm is even real. My sessions got better, my focus was sharper, and I stopped feeling like I was constantly catching up on energy. And it reminded me that discipline in recovery is still discipline. And there's a reason world-class performers call sleep a skill. It's something you have to train. Some Formula One teams even track driver sleep latency, how long it takes them to fall asleep, because even small changes in reaction time matter. And you can use the same principle. Train your sleep cues, your environment, your wind down. And over time, your body learns the pattern and rewards you with faster, deeper rest. Here's something I tell every client, and I want you to hear it too. You don't have to earn your rest. You deserve it because you're human. The harder you train, the more you need to recover, not less. Sleep isn't laziness. It's the maintenance mode that keeps you functioning at your best. All right, let's get honest about what's really standing between you and better sleep. Because most people don't struggle because they don't care about recovery. They struggle because their lifestyle constantly tells their brain it's time to perform. Let's start with the big one, stress. You can have the darkest room, the fanciest pillow, the most perfect sleep tracker, but if your brain is running a mental marathon, it's not switching off. That's because stress activates your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode. Your heart rate stays up, cortisol stays high, and your body basically says, nope, we're not safe enough to sleep yet. And that response doesn't just come from emergencies. It comes from emails, deadlines, notifications, family chaos, the tiny daily micro stressors that trick your brain into staying alert. And I've been there too. I'll finish a long day, sit down and think, finally, time to relax. Then my brain decides now's the perfect time to solve the world's problems. To-do lists, emails, and suddenly a deep dive into why does my knee click like that? That's called cognitive arousal, when your mind's so active it keeps your body alert. The fix isn't to force sleep, it's to create transition time. Give your brain something slow, something boring, something predictable. I read the same chapter of a book I've already finished. It's just rhythmic enough to slow my thoughts without engaging new ones. Next up is caffeine. We love it, we need it, but we also massively underestimate it. Caffeine has a half-life of around 6 hours, meaning that 4 p.m. coffee is still in your bloodstream at 10 p.m. Even if you fall asleep, it reduces your deep sleep quality, leaving you foggy in the morning. Athletes can often use caffeine strategically, early in the day or before performance sessions, but never close to bedtime. If you want to test your sensitivity, try a caffeine cutoff around 2 p.m. for a week. You might be surprised how much more easily your body winds down. And if you're listening thinking, but it's just one coffee, yes, but so was the one yesterday, and the one before that, and that energy drink you forgot about. It all stacks. Your body doesn't forget stimulants just because you're tired. Another sneaky saboteur? Overtraining. You think exhausting your body would make you sleep deeper, but actually it can do the opposite. Intense training elevates adrenaline and cortisol, sometimes for hours afterwards. If you train late in the evening, your nervous system is still buzzing when your body is trying to calm down. That's why you might lie in bed physically exhausted, but mentally wired. If that sounds familiar, experiment with timing. Try finishing training at least 3 hours before bed, or balance heavy evening sessions with lighter recovery work, stretching, mobility, and breath work. I used to hit this wall constantly when I was training really hard. I'd push late sessions, come home buzzing, tell myself I'd earned a good night's sleep, and then I'd just stare at the ceiling. I was tired, but my body thought it was still mid-sprint. That's the wired but tired trap, where your effort outpaces your recovery. And it's not about working less, it's about learning when to stop stimulating and start restoring. Then, of course, we have screens, phones, tablets, TVs, laptops. They're not even evil, but they are confusing. That light hitting your eyes tells your brain it's still daytime, suppressing that melatonin, the hormone that prepares you for sleep. So your body's like, why are we in bed? We're still getting daylight. The fix isn't to live in darkness, it's to reduce stimulation gradually. Dim lights, switch to warmer tones, avoid bright white light in the evening. If you're using your phone, use night mode or blue light filters. Even better, park your phone across the room and read something analog. Remember books? They're like scrolls, but without notifications. Now this one is sneaky. Worrying about sleep can stop you from sleeping. Ever lay there thinking, I have to sleep now or tomorrow I will be ruined? Congratulations, you've just activated anxiety, and there goes your REM cycle. The irony of sleep is that you can't force it, you can only allow it. Think of it like strength training. Tension doesn't build rest, release does. So instead of aiming to sleep, aim to rest. Lower the bar. You might just drift off faster. I used to think rest meant doing nothing, sitting still, waiting for sleep to arrive. Now I see it as an active skill. I dim the lights, I stretch gently, or even tidy something small. Just enough structure to quiet my brain without overstimulation. You don't need perfection, you just need a system that signals safety. One more. Emotional clutter. We often carry the day into the night. Conversations, worries, regrets, they all take up cognitive space. So try this. Keep a notebook by your bed. If something's looping in your mind, write it down. That act tells your brain it's handled. You can let go now. Sometimes clarity, not exhaustion, is what unlocks our sleep. So if you're listening right now thinking, that's me, please know you're not broken. You're just overstimulated. Your body's trying to protect you, not punish you. You don't need a new supplement or sleep app. You need space, rhythm, and patience. Give your system permission to calm down. All right, we talked about the science, the habits, and the saboteurs. Now let's put it all together. This is your performance sleep toolkit, the same foundations I use with clients and athletes when we rebuild recovery from the ground up. Treat sleep like training. Start programming your sleep exactly like a session. Training has a start and a finish time, a warm-up and a cool-down. Sleep needs the same. Pick a target bedtime and work backwards 45 minutes. That's your wind-down window. Lights dim, screens off, conversations slow down. If you can respect that window most nights, your brain will start recognizing the cue automatically. Temperature, light and noise. Think of your bedroom like your recovery lab. Keep it cool, around 18 degrees Celsius. Block blue light, add warm amber tones. And use white noise, earplugs or a simple fan if the environment is noisy. These aren't luxuries, they're performance variables. Your body reads them as signals of safety. The consistency code. The best athletes don't have random bedtimes. They anchor their circadian rhythm, same sleep, wake-up times, even weekends. That rhythm controls everything from digestion to hormone timing. Miss it too often and you're basically living in constant mini jet lag. Pre-sleep ritual. Downshift the brain. This is the part that matters most for people who can't switch off. Choose one thing that slows your brain without stimulating it. Gentle stretch or mobility flow. Reading a real book. Journaling a quick gratitude list. Laying out tomorrow's kit so your mind stops looping on it. Same activity, same time, every night. Predictability equals calm. Nutrition, hydration, timing. Avoid heavy meals or high sugar right before bed. Digestion keeps your core temp up and delays deep sleep. A small protein plus carb snack, either Greek yogurt, berries, or toast and peanut butter, about an hour before can actually help if you train late. Steady blood sugar, better recovery. And yes, cut caffeine early. We've covered that one. And your digital detox light. If you can park the phone, park it. But if you absolutely need to be reachable, use night shift mode. Drop brightness and keep the screen below eye level so light doesn't hit directly. Remember, scrolling is stimulation. Give your brain some boredom. It will reward you with sleep. You know, people often think that recovery is something that just happens to them. like you collapse into bed, close your eyes, and the magic repair fairies clock in. But recovery doesn't work like that. It's not passive, it's intentional. You have to build the space for it, just like you plan your training, your nutrition, your goals. You plan your rest. I like to think of recovery as your internal battery. You can't drive performance on 10% charge and expect full power. And here's the trick. You don't recharge only when you're empty. You plug in before you hit zero. That's what sleeping like an athlete means, not waiting until you're burnt out to care about the recovery. So tonight, or whenever you finish listening, I want you to do one small thing differently. Maybe it's putting your phone down 30 minutes earlier. Maybe it's dimming the lights or setting your room temperature cooler or skipping that 4 p.m. caffeine fix. Because it's not about perfection, it's about pattern. And every small cue tells your body we're safe, it's time to rest. Stack those cues over time and you'll feel the difference in your energy, your training, your mindset, even how you show up for other people. So here's your permission slip, right from your coach. Rest is not a reward. Rest is part of the process. You don't need to earn your recovery with exhaustion. The more seriously you take your downtime, the more potential you unlock in everything else. All right, team, that's a wrap for today's episode of The Fundamentals of Fitness. If this resonated with you or made you rethink how you're approaching your recovery, share it with someone who needs to hear that rest isn't laziness, it's progress. And if you love this episode, hit follow on Spotify or wherever you're listening. It helps the show grow and helps more people find practical, science-backed fitness without the fluff. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at AB Performance Training, or head to my website, abperformance.training, for coaching, resources, and free downloads to help you build your own gold medal moments. Remember, performance isn't built in the gym. It's built in recovery, nutrition, mindset, and all the moments in between. I'll catch you next Monday, same time, same place, for another deep dive into the science of becoming stronger, fitter, and more confident, inside and out. Sleep well, train smart. You've got this.